Nice to see you again. Today's episode is about seeking success, power, and control. And then in the second part, I will address, I have a word for Illuminaties, two subjects. By definition, each one of us has a different view what success is. In many cases, people think that earning a lot of money, having bigger houses, cars, being an authority, it varies what the success is. There is no right or wrong. Where is this coming from? How we arrived at this point where we accept those ideas what success is. This is something that is happening over many generations. This is a conditioning coming from the environment, from the system that you are growing in. Most people are striving to be in control of something because they see in the world that people with money, they have seemingly power, they have control, they make the decision, they can have nice things, and people which don't, they just struggle, they have to work, they have to earn stuff, and that's the view of the world. That's the basis. Believe me, there is no right or wrong. I am not trying to teach you or convince you that one way is better than the other. However, I'm going to share with you how I see success. To me, success is not about money at all. It is what I can contribute to the society, what I can give it to them, how much my involvement can enhance their lives, how much their lives can be different or better, because this is also something that varies from person to person what better is. Imagine that there is a village where there are 2,000 people and I'm one of them. And by success, I measure how well we are organized in that 2,000 people village. Are we prepared for some hardship where there is a loss of crops, or is there an earthquake or tornado? Are we willing and cooperating? Are we contributing equally, or is there a problem with, everybody is trying to have as much for themselves as possible? Because we are living, unfortunately, in a corporate system where everyone owns something, and that doesn't work, believe me. But no one noticed that. I mean, there are people that notice that. They know that there is a lot of wrong with that, or I shouldn't say wrong, but there are problems with that. There are issues with that people are trying to ignore it. You basically do not own anything. No one does, including Rothschilds. And you say, what? He's the richest guy on the planet, and how come he does not own? No, this is the amount of money or properties or whatever. People agreed that he has the title to all those things, but and he has those things thanks to contributors. Once the contributors are gone, they don't have anything. This is a how to say that, it's not really that he owns the banks or the properties. He only has a piece of paper saying that he or she owns that. However, once by owning, that means there is someone that is supporting the properties, there is someone that contributing to the bank. But once the people are not there anymore, they don't own anything. Look at your physical body. This is trillions of cells in our physical body, and each cell was contributed by another being. It's not just you. There are like through many, many life forms, there were others contributing to the physical body, to your DNA, to whatever the makeup you have. Now, let's take a look on the powers. You from history know a lot of people that they were striving to have control over everything, to have the power. Caesar, kings, queens, you name it. Usually they end up, not all of them, but some of them, yes. See, if you are someone who insists that the power belongs to you, nobody else, that the people start resent that, and once in a while there is a massive change. Our civilization every 200,000 years or so is going through a major change. It is just the reason because people want to have power and control. Seeking power over something, in my opinion, you might be one of the people that you feel comfortable going that way. But in my opinion, I am more of a guy that is willing to work in a group, as a team. Because then everyone is included in the decision making, and all the desires that we have are included in the programming or in the planning. But if you are only the one who is passing down the rules and by which people need to live, that is causing problems, and eventually whatever you are building up, you're controlling, it's going to collapse. It always does. It's just look on the past 1,000 years in human history, and then you will see that that's correct. Our civilization currently, people are very religious about stuff like this. They want to, get rich, and they have those blueprints like this. In this, however, writing, he's saying something important. Don't be competitive, be supportive, because see, anybody can earn money, and lots of them they can be blackheads, stupid people, and they don't have to be very smart at all to make big bucks. But there is a string attached to that. On one side you have billionaires that own everything, and on the other end you have people that struggle. I will explain that. That's coming up. And then you have this book. I think you know that very well, most of you anyway. In both writings, including Earl Nightingale, they forgot to mention one or recognize one simple thing. In the world, we are divided into society that is, the ratio, it's 9-1. Always were and always going to be. That's the way we work, even behind the scene. So in other words, 9 people out of 10 are followers and contributors, and the 1 is the collector of all those goodies on the behalf of the group, for the well-being of the group. And if Napoleon Hill recognized that, and Nightingale, then that message would be to the world a little bit different. In fact, when Andrew Carnegie was asking Napoleon Hill to write that book, you can read that right on the beginning of the book. It was about to develop a philosophy by which people can take themselves out of the poverty, the misery. That didn't happen. Why? Because when the news spread out, some others show up. Like he was interviewing Edison. Edison is, in my opinion, that's my opinion, he was a con artist. He wasn't inventor at all. He was an investor. He paid for every single invention, and then he bought the rights, put his name on it, and he has the patents to all this stuff. Somewhere And Napoleon Hill made a series of videos. You can find them on YouTube. Just type Napoleon Hill videos, then the list is gonna come up. In one of those videos, he's mentioning that I believe Edison made 10,000 experiments designing the light bulb. If you are the inventor, or you can ask inventor, how much time it takes for one experiment to perform, then multiply that times 10,000, and you will see what the number is. Then you will understand that there is something wrong with that statement. Napoleon Hill, he was coming from a very poor family, and yes, he wanted to present the idea to the world that yes, we can all working together get out from the mess. He was born and his life was around the Great Depression, so he knew very well how painful it is to be poor. But somehow the people that were around him, Schwab, Edison, they influenced that he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. And he's not lying, because he's not telling people to get wealthy, to get rich. So before the book was published, Ford was really pissed. He told him, you wasted 20 years for nothing. You are gonna extend more of crap, more problems, publishing this book, not solving anything. So there was a heated debate. There was somewhere a letter circulating, and I can't find that. That was from Ford to Napoleon Hill. That he said in the meeting there was a few influential people. They finally decided, you know what, give them what they want, because people really wanted to be rich and influential, and see if this is what they need. That was very clever, because when that was explained in that way, I just, okay, that was really smart move, because you need to realize, is this what you really want, or is this something that you need? Or perhaps first you need to fix yourself. You need to look after you, not after the goodies on the outside. And as you can see, by seeking success, you might be one of the people that is going to collect more and more goodies for yourself. But on the other end, you are going to have more and more poor. You're going to have more and more homeless, because that's the basic, the universal principle. When one side goes up, the other goes down. And by this contradiction, the rich can be. But this part is already overgrown, is at the level that they cannot handle this any longer. When the ratio is 9-1, it's okay, but the ratio is no longer that. It's 99% to 1%. So 1% owns everything, and the number is still coming up, and it's getting shorter. So it's getting less than 1%. And they realize that. Many of the people that are really rich, they already know that it's not only the poor are in problem, but the very rich are in problem. In fact, the rich are in much bigger problem. I am going to leave this part on the side. You need to decide for yourself what is the best way for you to proceed. Is it to create smaller groups of people where they work together on a common goal and they support each other, or you just take everything for yourself? To me, it's always to work towards the group, because I know that if something happened to me, then because of my contribution, I can always count on that someone is going to help. But if I will contribute only to myself, then I know that they will just turn back on me, because they will say, okay, you had enough money, you should, be set, and no problem. One thing that I need to stress out that you may think that having a lot of money on your account it is giving you some sort of security protection. No, that's just illusion, because money is nothing more than currency. Once you put that in a bank or exchange that for the gold, it's worthless, including gold. Yes, you are correct. You are hearing that correct. Anything that is sitting in a bank or in a vault, it's just, in case of gold, it's just metal, nothing else. It is coming a point where you cannot take, even if you have the gold, and go buy something. That gold is worthless. People have no use for it. It has no value to them anymore. We are switching already to a barter, where people are willing to exchange, let's say, crops for devices, crops for clothing, the material things for whatever they need. Money does not have any value anymore. The dollar is done. I don't want to sound like a bad prophet, but this is true. And if you are paying attention to what is happening on the market and what's not, you can see the trend. The Bitcoin is the final nail in the coffin. This is just to push the monetary system to complete collapse. But we will see. Okay? So right now, since we are on this subject already here about money, so I am going to address the gentleman from the Society of Illuminaties. I know I was receiving many emails because I asked for that, for a newsletter, to see what this organization is all about. I research others too, Masons and Templars, and I'm interested. I'm the kind of guy that I want to know stuff, and that's why I am receiving, not anymore because I unsubscribed the information, because I just wanted to see what this organization is all about. So there is a whole segment on money, and you guys are saying that money can do a lot of good in the world. Sorry. Do you see where this good happened? Yes, I agree with you that money is neither good or bad. It's just currency, nothing else. However, the abuse of that, it caused what we see right now. There were no safety mechanisms in place to prevent that. It was the drive towards control or being in charge of something, to make sure that the other guy is not in charge, the bad guy, whoever that was, is not in charge. Then that drive, when you do that, there is a simple universal principle here. If you think that there is somebody else who can hurt you, universe needs to release that. So by the same token, if those that were striving to have control and be decently honest with this, they eventually got themselves into the corner. They got pushed into the place where they don't want to be anymore. So you see, I disagree that money can do really good without having a safety feature in place. And that safety feature is not about another person deciding that. It is something that needs to be self-controlling. It has to be in such a way that no one can override that. That once a person or entity, like a corporation, reach a certain level, that safety mechanism kicks in, and it's preventing to overriding this whole thing. So you may look into that. Another thing is, I'm going to talk about the leadership, because right now we are in very sticky situation in the world. So let's talk about that right now. Here I am going to show you a few snippets from the email that I received from you for the viewers to read. I just want them to be accustomed to understand what ideology is coming from this society. Yes, every king is outnumbered, and it's true that the people really are in charge of the country, unless the king is not a leader, it's a dictator. Because the king does not make the decision, the people do, and he is only representing that what they want. When there is a hardship, we should compromise. That's a very intelligent way to go. We have so many different views, so many dogmas, religious beliefs that are in constant conflict. But when we have cataclysmic events where our existence is hanging by the thread, then it is better to work together and find a common ground for what each group can contribute and what each group can get out of this, and how we kind of keep each other separate so we don't aggravate the conflicts even further. One thing I disagree, though, is that somewhere there is a line that says that the leader is always in tough spot because he needs to make the decision for the people. I disagree with that. I already mentioned that good quality leader comes from the group, which is great follower first, so he understands what is happening on the bottom. Secondly, he never makes the decision for the group. He always makes sure that he is representing the will of the people. Period. No questions asked. Since we have the system set up in a very strange way that there is an attempt to have one government on the top, and that government is making decisions for everybody else, that is going to collapse. That's not going to work. We need to go back to roots, to the bottom, where the people within community, it doesn't matter how they are going to be set up. Let's say 30,000 years ago we had houses, and they are still, the remnants of that are in the writings in the Old Testament, New Testament, Bible. You can find those names. The names are representing houses, and each house, all the internal affairs were solved at the bottom level. Then each house was represented in a higher council or house of elders or whatever you can call that. And then those houses, they had their representatives in the higher ranks. And they were always trying to cooperate. Each individual representing a house or community or whatever was only representing the will of the people. And then in the final count, at the council, because there was never a one guy that was making the decision, but within the group of the council, there was always one tiebreaker. Let's say there were 10 members of the council, and there was the 11th guy who was the tiebreaker. He was the leader of the group. So he counted the votes and say 6 nay, 4 yay. So he usually go with the majority, and then said, okay, this is what we are going to be doing. Sometimes this is not a good idea. Sometimes it would have to be a compromise, because reaching the decision at 6 nay and deciding for the group could have drastic and disastrous consequences. Therefore, those who were saying yay and those who were nay, they had to go back to the table, negotiate, and finally come up with a better solution. So that's how this whole thing should work. I know that this ideology that Illuminati is presenting is coming from different teachings, from Sanskrit, from old scriptures, including Bible. So let's take a look what in the Bible was said about this whole control and dominion over everything, because I am done addressing the Illuminatis right now. However, I want to add an extra material to this video, so you can ponder on this as you want, because I am neither against it or for it. I am just simply presenting what was in the email, and this is not an attempt to promote. I will join some society at some point once I retire, because I'm still working and struggling to make those videos and write a book, especially right now that my left eye is causing problems. But once I am free and can dedicate full time to what my passion is, then I will join some of the society that will match my internal values. Okay? Since most people are religious, one way or the other, I want to show you an excerpt from the Genesis. You can see here that there is a statement, let us make humankind in our image. This is very interesting first statement, because the let us, it means you, me, and I, that part wants to be manifests itself physically in the world and in our likeness. So, you know, basically everything you see in the nature is structured in the same way like human body. It has the three components: the concept, the soul or the astral body, and the physical body, where or temple, through which you can experience the life we do experience. And that applies not only to nanoparticles, that applies to galaxies and beyond. So that's how this whole universe is built. That's how it's structured. And here is something that was not supposed to be translated this way. So it is about the dominion of our fish and in the sea, and the birds in the air, and all animals, wild animals. This is not correct. There is another screenshot of that. On February 22nd, I had very weird experience. I was again out somewhere up there, and this is what was said to me. I am only paraphrasing, because the words they gave me was much better. So men, in this case, it's not about just the gender. It's about men as a, men, women and men shall seek not dominion over sea, air, or any living creature. Men shall seek recognition that she and he is part of all of them. Because that's correct, that's true. I mean, well, at least to me, and some people have a long way to accept that, to know that, to understand that. They are there. So by they, I mean the animals, the air, the water, and everything else are there for his and her enjoyment and support, because that's what it is. And too often we have science. Well, those are people that are paid good money to try to have control over the weather manipulation, to alter DNA of animals and humans and plants to see where this is going. Well, this may end up the same way as it happened with money. When we are not careful, we can develop something that can wiped out everything on the planet. But we need to wait and see. I am just cautioning that what those beings presented to me, it is more of a being part of everything else and enjoying this part of. And of course, they are here for your support, and they are going to provide anything you want from them. However, for me, the way I see it, it is I wouldn't manipulate anything. I would just let it be and just enjoy everything and see what they can do for me, because what we discover about this world is just a fraction. We have no clue about our abilities, or the plant's abilities, or animals' abilities, or how we can influence the magnetic field of the Earth, because we can do that. We did that many thousands of years ago. We can change the frequency. We did that. You have Stonehenge, you have Göbekli Tepe, you have other artifacts standing today that were used for that. They are called resonators. But man is not looking into that. He's motivated by money only for personal gains. If we switch that into working as a collective, that might change. All right then, so thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, please like this video, share if you think this is worth it. I think it does. And of course, please leave some comments, because I am always thankful for any comments. All right, so thank you, and see you in the next video.